So you're looking at moving to the Boise, Idaho area, and you're looking at the differences between Meridian and Nampa, Idaho, two suburbs of Boise. And I find that when a lot of people are moving here, they really are deciding between Meridian and Nampa. So in this video, I'm gonna dive into what are the main differences between Meridian and Nampa and see which one makes the right sense for you to move to. So we're gonna dive into the cost of the homes here, how centrally located things are, schools, healthcare systems, shopping, and look at all the differences so you can decide whether or not Meridian or Nampa makes the most sense for you when you make the move here to Meridian, Nampa, or just the Boise, Idaho area. Meridian, probably the main difference is gonna be how centrally located it is in the Treasure Valley. So of course, the Treasure Valley is going to be Boise, Meridian, Nampa, Caldwell, all these different suburbs that make up the Treasure Valley area here in southwestern Idaho. Super centrally located, so you're gonna be right next to Boise. In fact, it basically just flows right into Boise. You may not even realize when you've crossed from Meridian into Boise. It's also right next to Eagle, so it's just south of Eagle. So if you're looking to get to the river, the Boise River, or up into the foothills, then Meridian is gonna be a lot closer to all of those things. And I'll dive a little bit more into that in a second here. As opposed to Nampa, Nampa is gonna be definitely a little bit further west, not too far away. In fact, again, they are actually connected to each other, Nampa and Meridian. So depending on where you are, you might flow right from Nampa into Meridian or vice versa. But generally speaking, if you're living in Nampa and then you're looking to go into Meridian for certain activities or things to do, then you're gonna probably be about 20 minutes away driving from Nampa into Meridian. So Nampa is really more of a bedroom community for Boise and Meridian. So a lot of people do live out in Nampa and then commute in to Meridian, Boise area. So that's gonna be the next big thing that we're gonna look at is the traffic patterns in Meridian versus Nampa. So you might think that living in Meridian, you're set, you don't have to worry about traffic. Now, you might be right in some ways as far as freeway traffic. Now there is just one major freeway going through here, and that is I-84. And of course that can get traffic built up on it from Nampa and Caldwell and people commuting in from there during rush hour traffic or going back home, morning or afternoon, evening timeframes. So you are gonna avoid that living in Meridian if you're working in Meridian, living or working in Boise. However, there is a lot of traffic that builds up on the roads in Meridian. So there are a lot of stoplights, 2-lane roads, well, it's 2 lanes on either side, maybe sometimes 3 lanes, but definitely Meridian and especially Eagle Road is probably the worst, but then Chinden also builds up quite a bit. And any of these roads, it can really just build up with traffic because people are, of course, working, picking their kids up at school, dropping them off at school in the morning. And so a lot of people are just out and about all during, that rush hour time frames. And because of the stop signs and stop lights, it can really build up. So ideally, if you can, you want to try to avoid those time frames and stay off the roads to not worry so much about the traffic. Coming from Nampa, really the traffic you're going to be hitting, generally speaking, is going to be on the freeway, again in the mornings, sometimes in the afternoons, or maybe on the backcountry roads, getting yourself into Meridian and then into Boise. If you're driving all the way into Boise, you're probably definitely getting on the freeway. If you're getting into Meridian, depending on where you are in Nampa, then you may not actually have to get on the freeway at all, and you can kind of avoid some of the traffic as well. But it can build up on the backcountry roads. There's a lot of roundabouts in Nampa as you head into Meridian. So if you just catch it at the wrong time, you might have to wait a little bit to get through. But that's gonna be the main difference is you're gonna hit traffic from on the freeway coming from Nampa into Meridian, but not as much on the roads themselves within Nampa, but in Meridian, you're certainly gonna be hitting traffic during those rush hour times. And with traffic, Meridian is just a lot busier of an area. It's gonna feel a lot like Southern California. If you're coming from Southern California or anywhere else, you'll know what I'm talking about. I myself actually moved from San Diego. I moved from Southern California. So a lot of people will compare Meridian to Irvine, just outside of LA in Orange County, but it's just a lot busier. There's a lot more people there, a lot of activity going on, lots of schools, shopping. So there's just a lot happening in Meridian, therefore it's a lot busier than a place like Nampa. Nampa, there's just not as much going on. It's definitely more of a bedroom, sleepier community, a little more farm feel for sure, versus the more modern, built out area of Meridian. Now, Meridian is certainly a lot more built out. Now they're still building some homes, of course, new construction. Pretty much you're gonna be getting those on the western side of Meridian, a little bit on the very northern edge, but kind of around Chinden Road, and then also South Meridian, south of I-84. But otherwise, the city itself of Meridian is pretty built out right now, versus Nampa is still growing quite rapidly. In fact, Nampa was actually named this last year as the #1 boom town in America, with Meridian right behind it at #2, but just showing how much growth is happening in Nampa, but also looking at job growth and wage growth. Actually, a lot of people look at Nampa as kind of a little more rural farmland community, and certainly certainly that's true, but there are, people moving in from out of town, work remote, so income levels are rising as well in Nampa. So Nampa is just going to be a slower pace of life overall. Now, of course, there is a city center. There are a lot of traffic lights, stop signs, etc. in there, so you can get a little busy. But generally speaking, as you get out into the more edges of Nampa, it's just going to be farm roads and a lot more calmer, slower driving, etc. versus Meridian, where it's just going to be more of that city life. So if you're looking for more of a rural feel, slower pace of life, just not quite as many people, but still a growing active community, then Nampa might be a better place. But if you want to be really close to better schools, and I'll touch on that, and certainly a lot of healthcare options and shopping, then Meridian might be a better spot for you. And I'm going to dive into the schools, the healthcare systems, the shopping here in just a second. If you are looking to make the move here to Idaho, I'm a real estate agent helping people just like you and you and you and you and you make the move here to Idaho. Help people all the time, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're 9 days, 90 days, or even 2 years out, give me a call. We'll either jump on a phone call or a Zoom call. We'll talk through if you got to move right now because you got a job that's moving you here, or you just need to get out of California or wherever else you're moving to, or you're making plans for a couple years out. We'll figure out the best plan and neighborhood for you to ultimately make the move here to Idaho. My contact information is on the screen and the comments and description below, so give me a shout. All right, we're going to dive into a little bit more about the home values, the types of homes you can get in Meridian versus Nampa. We're going to talk about the schools, healthcare systems, shopping. So let's dive in first to the type of homes, type of communities that you're going to get in Meridian versus Nampa. So Meridian home values, generally speaking, are probably going to be around $75,000 to $100,000 more overall. Now, there can be nicer homes in Meridian than in Nampa, but Nampa certainly has high quality homes as well. But generally speaking, Nampa is going to be a little bit more affordable. Just a combination of land values in Meridian versus Nampa. And Nampa also has more affordable builders building out in Nampa versus Meridian. Again, Meridian has already been built out. A little bit of construction going on. You do have some affordable builders like CBH. You've got Hubble Homes about to open up a new community, start a new community there. But you've got Toll Brothers, a little bit higher end. And then you've got Tresidio, Berkeley, Brighton Homes, and then a number of other custom builders as well, all a little bit higher end builders, which are going to drive the prices higher, of course, because it's better finishes, a little bit better quality of construction overall. But in Nampa, you're going to again have more affordable builders building out there like CBH, Hubble Homes, Hayden, but you also have Toll Brothers, and you also have Tresidio and Berkeley, and again, some custom homes as well being built out there. But the neighborhoods, generally speaking, in Meridian are probably going to be more established, meaning more mature trees. It's going to feel like that neighborhood has been there for 10, 15, 20 years, because that's the case. It certainly has been there for a little bit longer period of time if it's not a brand new construction. You can find those in Nampa. However, generally speaking, a lot of the especially newer homes, of course, are going to be newer construction, not as well established neighborhoods with smaller trees. So it's just going to take more time for all that to kind of fill in. Now, there's pros and cons, of course, to buying older homes versus newer homes. Older homes, if they're 20 years old, you got to make sure that systems have been upgraded, the roof has been maintained, maybe replaced. Look at the AC unit, look at the water heaters, versus a brand new home that you can buy for sure in Nampa or certain parts of Meridian. And those are going to be brand new systems that aren't going to break for a number of years. Now, you can get more house for your money out in Nampa versus in Meridian. So again, I said that homes are about $75,000 to $100,000 cheaper. So if you are looking for a larger home for the same price as you might buy a smaller home in Meridian, then Nampa might be the place for you. Or again, if you're just looking to save some money, you can head out to Nampa and still get a nice size home for the money versus what you might get in Meridian. So you are going to get more for your money out there. Also, there are more land properties available in Nampa also. So if you're looking for 1 acre plus, Nampa is certainly going to have more options. Meridian does have acreage properties still. However, Nampa is going to have more of them and a little bit more affordable. Now, please keep in mind at the moment of recording, if you're looking for 1 acre plus in Nampa, you're pretty much looking at minimum $600,000 and then growing from there. $600,000 is going to get you a pretty basic home most likely. So really, once you get in the $700,000 to $800,000 range, you're going to get certainly much more for your money in terms of a nicer home. Maybe get a shop on the property as well. But if you are looking for land, a little more elbow room, then Nampa is probably going to be the spot for you. Now let's touch on shopping in Meridian versus Nampa. So a lot of people think that Nampa, maybe it doesn't have a whole lot of shopping and you have to commute into Meridian or Boise to actually do that. So let's touch on Meridian first. So it certainly has a Costco, of course, Home Depot, Lowe's, Trader Joe's, Target. It does not have a Whole Foods, but does have Boise Co-op, which is going to be a nice alternative to that. Whole Foods is located in Boise. And Meridian has The Village, which is a really nice high-end shopping mall, outdoor shopping mall with all the high-end boutique retailers and some nice restaurants there as well. We really love going there as a family. Sometimes there's shows, like we've been there for the Corbin Maxey show, which is super fun. Sometimes they have live music. They have this cool water fountain feature with timed music and lights. Super neat, especially during Christmas time. It's all, lit up. They kind of turn it into like a Santa's Village type thing. So we we love going certainly to the village, and a lot of people really like to go here and potentially live close to it just because it's so convenient. And then there's other large shopping around it. For instance, you've got World Market, you've got the big Albertsons, like this original supermarket store, which all kinds of restaurants inside of it as well. But Nampa also has a lot of this. So Nampa has a Costco, basically sits, all these shops I'm about to describe, all these stores are sitting right on the edge of Nampa and Caldwell. So you've got Costco, Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, and again, all those basically sit right around Karcher Road, serving Caldwell and Nampa. So again, do you have the Costco? That area does get really busy and congested with traffic. So personally, I actually don't really try to go there too often. In fact, what we do actually is use Instacart to order from Costco. Also, you can order from, I believe, Winco and maybe Fred Meyer. I'm not sure on that. My wife would know for sure, but certainly from Costco. So it saves us about a 20-minute trip over to Costco and avoid all that congestion. But it does have it all for you. It also has, of course, movie theaters, just like Meridian has movie theaters. The Village has a great movie theater right inside there as well. So you're pretty much going to have all your shopping in Nampa. You're going to have it all in Meridian. But if you're looking for that Trader Joe's, the Boise Co-op, and some higher end shopping and higher end restaurants, then Meridian is where you're either going to be going or you want to live near it so you don't have to travel quite as far to get to it. Now, briefly, we'll touch on the school systems in Meridian versus Nampa. I would encourage you to go to niche.com and really look through those, and you can see what all the schools' ratings are there in Meridian versus Nampa. But generally speaking, Meridian is going to have the top rated schools essentially in, I believe, in all of Idaho. Basically, if you look on niche.com, you're going to see that all of these are pretty much rated A or A+, so A- to A+ range. There's a lot of charter schools in Meridian as well, and also some private schools as well, like the Ambrose School. Now in Nampa, if you look on niche.com, you're gonna find that most of the schools are rated B. So you're gonna see that they are a step below, generally speaking. Not to say that they're terrible, but they're certainly gonna be a step below Meridian. So if you're looking to be close to a great school district, public school system, then you're gonna look at Meridian versus Nampa. However, there is school choice in Idaho, so you can actually send your kids to whatever school that you want to. You're just gonna be responsible to get them there, so you can't use the bus system if you're going outside of your assigned school, and there oftentimes is a wait list as well. So if your plan was to live in Nampa but send your kids to school in Meridian, you're probably gonna have to really plan that out and make sure that can actually happen, or look into private schools, charter schools. For us, we actually homeschool, so we don't send our kids to the public schools, so I don't know a ton about the individual schools here in Idaho because, again, we look more at the homeschool, the co-ops, the charter schools, that kind of thing for our kids. All right, and let's touch really quickly on the healthcare system as well. So there are gonna be, the major providers here are St. Luke's, St. Al's, or St. Alphonsus. There's also Salzer Health, but those first two are the two major ones, St. Al's and St. Luke's. Salzer has an outpatient surgery center in Meridian. There's also a lot of urgent cares all throughout Meridian. Also, Nampa has St. Al's, St. Luke's, also urgent cares throughout. So really, you're gonna be okay no matter which town you're in if you're concerned about one or the other. There can be more specialists in Meridian versus Nampa. So again, if you're looking for a very niche specialty that you know you need for your personal needs, health needs, then you may wanna just dig into that more and find out where your specialist actually is. And of course, if you're living in Nampa, you can still go to Meridian, but you're just gonna be closer to potentially a little bit higher grade healthcare in terms of the specialist that you're looking for in Meridian versus Nampa, because there's just more hospitals, larger, more specialists there. So if you are looking to make the move here to Nampa or to Meridian, just give me a call via phone, text, or email. Contact information is on the screen and below. Again, I love helping people just like you make the move here to Idaho. I myself moved from San Diego, California. I know exactly what you're going through when you're looking at making the move here to Idaho. I know how difficult it is to leave family, friends, and the awesome weather in California. But if you are looking for more freedom and a better way of life, Idaho really might be the spot for you, and all you gotta do is reach out. Now, if you are looking to learn more about Idaho, all you gotta do is watch this video where I dive into more detail, and I'll see you on the next video.